Hi, I'm Gary Malevsky, the publisher of Cyber Defense Magazine, and you're watching Cyber Defense TV. In today's hot seat, I have the pleasure of interviewing Israel Barak, the CISO of Cybereason. Israel, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you for having me.
So you guys at Cybereason are one of the most advanced EDR companies out there. Tell us, I know our viewers probably know what it means, but tell us what EDR stands for and tell us how you do it and how you're so special.
Well, it stands for Enterprise Detection and Response, and essentially the idea is to focus on detecting and responding to a stage of the attack that is in the post-penetration stage. So assuming the attacker was able to penetrate our initial line of defenses, how do we roll out a strategy that allows the organization to still detect them as they're moving through the early stages of their attack life cycle, understand exactly what they're doing, and respond to that?
Now, we have such advances happening in threat detection. People are talking about AI, machine learning, and all that. What are you doing on the endpoint that's unique, and do you tie into a cloud backend? Have you thought about maybe doing something with honeypots? Where are you going, and how are you getting ahead of these breaches?
A number of ways. In terms of the data collection analysis, we're very unique from that perspective, mostly because the data that we collect from the endpoint gets analyzed and correlated either on the cloud or on-prem, depending on the relevant architecture for that particular organization. But the idea is to form an attack story. Right, so not only to create a detection that says something abnormal is happening here in this particular case, but also to explain to our users what happened before, what happened after, what were the branches of this operation, and essentially help the Security Operations Center gain that level of effectiveness through understanding of the story of the attack.
So when you say the story of the attack, this sounds amazing. You're talking about kind of you can actually unwind the knowledge of how they penetrated or broke in. Exactly. And are you sharing that in a dashboard, in a report? How are you giving that data to your clients, and what are they doing with that information?
So the first thing that we're doing is to compile a report, right, that states what the nature of the detection was and what the correlated attack story is and timeline is. What happened before, what happened after, which machines in the enterprise network are involved in that particular incident. A lot of incidents are not necessarily confined to just one machine, right?
Question on that. When an incident occurs such as these new ransom worms, they don't just hit one computer, they look for like the SMB vulnerability, and they work their way across a whole enterprise. Are you able to quarantine or isolate fast enough so that a whole enterprise doesn't get infected with the ransom worm?
So our detection would actually tell the Security Operations Center that more than one endpoint is exhibiting that type of behavior. And with a single detection, they'll actually see that there are 10 machines, or 20 machines, or 50 machines exhibiting that behavior. And they would be able to roll out a response strategy as well as a containment strategy that would isolate these machines from the network and remediate them, right, from the threat.
When you say isolate from the network, I've got a computer and it's trying to probe another computer. I'm a trusted user, but I'm infected. Is your endpoint agent aware of the infection in real time and stopping and severing my network connectivity after an alert went out?
Yes.
So you're really quarantining or isolating the problem.
Exactly.
And are you really doing it that fast? Are you doing it in real time?
Yes. In some cases, you want to respond to a threat in real time. Ransomware is that exact type of situation. In other cases, usually security operations centers will want to contain a situation, but not necessarily roll out a complete response strategy or remediation because they still want to investigate the nature of the incident. So if you see an indications of an operation in progress, you want to make sure it doesn't cause more damage, right, than what it has done so far. But you do not necessarily want to immediately tip off the attacker that you know what they're doing and where they're doing this. Because you want to make sure that you use the system's ability to detect and ability to provide you with visibility into all the data pieces that were collected from the environment to make sure that you fully understand that attack story before you not only isolate and contain the situation, but actually also remediate that entire situation.
This sounds very intelligent. Is this a lightweight agent? Is there a cloud backend? How have you put this intelligence together, and how is it rolled out in a typical customer deployment?
Well, the agent itself is very lightweight. Its primary purpose in life is to collect behavioral information from the endpoint, send that information to a central repository that can either be on cloud, on AWS, or on-prem. And then in that central repository, this is where we run all the analytics, cross-correlate information coming in from different endpoints in the environment to form these behavioral detections and identify the patterns of the attack over time.
And you call this the attack story.
Yes.
Are there new stories, and how are you discovering them? For example, are you actually out there in the world honeypotting the bad guys without them knowing it?
We first and foremost, most of our team comes from an offensive background, a cyber offensive background. So understanding the nature of a cyber operation, the cadence of a cyber operation, the techniques that are being used in different phases is something that we were all, or many of us, have trained to kind of intuitively understand, and that's what we roll out into the product's capabilities. In addition to that, we have a number of projects going on that allow us to experience new upcoming capabilities, upcoming tools, techniques, procedures, like some of our honeypot projects. For example, in the most recent honeypot project, we've actually created a facade of a financial services company, and we're focused on identifying advanced behaviors from automatic attack tools that are being built out there.
Sounds great. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
I think that'll be it.
Sounds great. Well, I just want to say this was a wonderful interview. We've learned a lot about Cybereason. We've learned a lot about attack patterns, attack stories. The methodologies that the hackers are using are getting very far advanced, and luckily we have companies like Cybereason who are helping us get one step ahead of the next breach. So stay tuned next time for another session at cyberdefense.tv, and please visit cybereason.com and learn more about their company. Thank you.